it's a problem. Now, the main application of pas b'salo has to do with if a person doesn't have a wife. So if you don't have a wife, so you can't satisfy that need. So that's called ein lo pas b'salo. Person has a pas b'salo. So therefore, even though he may not engage with his wife, but that the wife is available, it's tempered. It's kept at bay. But you see, there you see the reality. Bread, yesh lo mana yotze mosayim. Person has money, he wants more. If you have today, what are you worrying about tomorrow? But what is the main application of the concept? It's by a relationship with husband and wife, right? Because it's pas b'salo. So you see, being available, that's sufficient. That's sufficient to satisfy the person. He doesn't need more than that, right? He doesn't need another woman. You have your wife. You don't need another woman. So if Hashem gave you the pas now, what do you worry about what's going to be tomorrow?
The concept's not just a financial concept. It's whatever.
This isn't financial. This is, he says, what's katni amona? You have today. What do you worry about tomorrow?
But in terms of having your wife, that's not financial.
Your wife is available now. Or even let's say a woman's in need. She's not of it, but still she is available because ultimately it's going to come to an end, right? She'll be able to go. She will be. That's sufficient. That's called pas b'salo. Okay. Rava me'ilu katni b'nei rishei Yisrael. You hear this? When it says over here, mi bozlium katnus, we're speaking of not tzaddikim who are deficient in this area. Rishom have children, young children, and we'll see, and they die. She mevazvin din aviem losed level. What does it mean? Korim din avim shebon ledonim omrim lefonov. Ribon shalom mi'acha she'ato osid lipora mehen loma hikisa shneim bom. Meaning, loma hevaltem b'tziartem oleinu b'mosenu b'nifras behem b'chayim. Meaning, the children will vindicate the parents. The Rishoyim, what happens to Rishoyim? HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes the children. Therefore, the children will be in a position to say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, our parents paid the price. Omer Ablo, Reberechio, Ilmoli Tfilosa Shel David, Ho Yikol Yisrael Mochrei Revav. Hear this? If not for the Tfilah of David, all Jews would be selling this fat, which is something which is disgusting. Rashi's fat. Why? It's something which, if it goes on a person's garment, it makes it not wearable. And who engages in this kind of employment? Poor people. Shenemar, Shis Hashem Mora Lehem. Rashi says, because the pasuk says before, Leomne Ksiv Ki Lo Lenetzach Yishkach Evyon. Hashem will not abandon, will forget the impoverished one. Tikvas Aniyim Tovad. Lad. Shis Hashem Mora Lohem, Tein Lohem Morus, Losam Aniyim Oisher. Meaning the poor who have nothing, they will give him wealth. Shu'agoyim Nogim Mehem Kovod. This is ultimately. Even the poor Jews, ultimately the Goyim will treat them as if they're wealthy. V'yedu Agoyim Shem Enosh Ve'enom Elohus. Shein Kol HaKovod HaGdula Shelahem. Okay? Omre B'lo Yivarechyo Yimolitvo Shel Chavakuk. Hoy based on the Chachomim Miskas Metalas Achas. Voskim Torah. If not for the Tefillah of Chavakuk, who was a Navi, Talmidei Chacham, they'll be so poor they would engage in Torah and they would wear the same garment that would cover both of them. Shenemar Hashem Shemati Shimacha Yoresi Hashem Polcha Bekerev Shnayim Chayehu Al Tikrev Bekerev Elo Bekiruv Shnayim, meaning their flesh will be touching one another when they'll be studying Torah. Not Bekerev means in the midst, but Bekiruv that the flesh will be touching. V'omer Rabbi Lo Yivariachyo Shenecham Mahalchim B'derech Ve'ein B'nei Divrei Torah. Yeah, they're traveling. Really sorry, boy, they deserve to be consumed by fire. Where do we learn it from? You learn from the Elisha and Eliyahu Navi. Shenem Avi Hema Holchim Holoch V'daber. You hear this? They're walking and they're speaking and learning. Eliyahu and Elisha. V'rechev Eish, and all that chariot fight comes between them. So meaning, and they survived. So why does the pasuk have to reveal that they were speaking? They were speaking in Torah. That the reason why they Taimo Diko Dibur. Why were they saved from the fire? Because they would speak. They were engaged in Torah discussion. Haleka Dibur. But if they wouldn't have been the Torah, ruinly sorry if they deserve to be burnt. Rabbi Loi Barbav Yivariachio. Shnei Talmud Adorn Birachas. Two Talmud live in the same city. Ve'ein Nochen Zelo Zeb Halacha. They don't agree on halacha. Echad Meis ve'echad Nigola. One of them dies and the other one is exiled. Shenemar Lon Ushama Rotzeach. This is by a person kills inadvertently. The murderer will flee there. Asher Yitzach Esreu Bivli Das. It says without realization, meaning inadvertent. Ein Das El Torah. Shenemar Nidmu Ami Bli Das. My people, they behave as if what? They have no brains. They have no discretion because they're not studying Torah. Omri Behuda Brei Durab Chiyah. Called Talmud Chochem Osik Da Torah Mitoch HaTchak. Talmud Chochem who studies Torah despite his lack of funds. He's pressed. Financially he's pressed. Tfilos Nishmas. Hashem listens to his tefillah. Shenemar Ki Am B'Tzion Yeshe B'Yushalayim Bocho Losifke Chanun Yechanchoncho L'Kol Za'akcho Kishmato Antcho Uchsiv. When he listens to your plight, your affliction, Uchsiv Basrei V'Nosen Hashem Lechem Lechem Tzar Umayim Lachat. So what kind of person we're speaking about? The person only has lechem tzar. That means he has bread, stale, dry bread and water. So whose tefillah does he listen to? This person. He engages in Torah study, and despite his affliction, Rabbi Omer Mazbiyan Osam Yiziv Hashchina. This person, he's sated from the radiance of the Shechina. Shenemar Voyenecha Ros. The person, your eyes will see your teacher. Morecho Voyenecha Ros Morecho. Rabacho Barchanino Oma Af in a paragud ninal before of this, like a partition in Shemayim. That partition, the gate will always be admitted. Shenemar v'lo yichanif od morecho. Konaf is like a corner. Your teacher will never be concealed from you. Hashem will always be available for this person. Right? It says each day the curse is worse than the next day, or each day there's a curse. Every day, the next day's curse is worse than the previous day's curse. Shenemar, it says in the Tochacha, Baboket Tomar Mitin Erev. The morning will be so bad, people say, we can't wait for evening. Ube'erev Tomar Mitin Boker, when is morning coming? Somewhere says, Hi Boker. When we say, when morning, which, are we speaking of the previous morning, or it's the following morning? Ilem Boker L'Mocher, are we speaking of tomorrow's morning? Me Yeda, my Havik. I mean, how could you say, I can't wait for tomorrow? Maybe tomorrow's morning will be worse. At night, we can't wait for tomorrow. What do you mean? Maybe we're going from the frying pan into the fire. So when he says, which morning? I mean, the previous morning, things were terrible. So you wanted the night. When come night, you realize it's worse. So you want the previous morning. I wish it was yesterday rather than today. Yeah? Ila make boker lemochor. Isn't the boker of tomorrow? Miyeda, my Havik. You don't know what it's with. El decholif. It means the morning. Yesterday's, the morning that already passed, yesterday's morning. El almo, amayko mekayim. So now, if actually things go from bad to worse continuously, so evidently we're lacking schus. So why does Hashem maintain this existence? If every day the curse goes from bad to worse, what does the world stand on? This very famous Gemara, amayko mekayim, akdusha the sidro. That's the kedusha we say in the Volat Zion, ato kodosh. That's what we say, kodosh, 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 baruch kvod. Vayeshmei Rabba Dagarata. That after you finish learning in shul, you say Kadosh Rabbanon. So even the Amaratzim, they answer Amen Yeshmei Rabba. That's it stands in that marriage. Shenemar Eretz Ofso Kimo Ofel Tzalmovis V'lo Sidorim Hayesh Sidorim Tofia Ofel. Meaning, the land will be fatigued, like with darkness, and they'll be in the shadow of death. V'lo, why? Because there's no Sidorim. There's no learning. But there is some kind of learning. Tofia miofil. You'll be extricated from what? From that darkness. So Rashi says, what is kedusha de sidra? Important Rashi here. A kedusha de sidra. Say the kedusha shlo tignuash elishu kol Yisrael oskim b'Torah b'chol yom. Dovermord. Every Jew engaged in Torah study to a small degree. She'omek kriyoso v'targumo. Right? We say kodesh kodesh kodesh, and we say it in Aramaic. Right? And we say Baruch Kvod, and we say it in Aramaic. So we're saying that it's Torah in Hebrew and in Aramaic. Since everybody engages in this. V'yeshkan Shtayim Kedusha. Shtayim Kedusha, the same with Talmud Torah. Chovivu, that's why it's special. because it's Torah and it's also Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh. Chen yeshmei rabba mevorach shon achar agodo shadarshan dorish berabim. The lecture at Darshan's public. Chol Shabbos, every Shabbos. Hayunogin kach shomei nikbotzet kolom lishmoa. V'yishenu yom shamloch. People don't work, so people go to shul, listen to the drasha. Yeshan Torah. Kedusha Hashem. So you say, Omer Yishmei Rabbo, said the merit of the Torah again, Kedusha Hashem. So we have two things. As you have in Volotzion, you have Kedusha. It's both. It's Torah and Kedusha Hashem, Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh. Same thing. You have the Torah, and then you say, Omer Yishmei Rabbo, that's Kedusha Hashem. Okay, good. Lo Yorat Tal Livrocho. After the Churban, the Tal, the dew never came down for Brocha. V'ditel tam peiros. Tanya, Rav Shimon Elazar Omer, Tyra betelo tam v'reach. When the Tyra went, what ceased to be? The taste of fruits and the fragrance. Fragrance stopped. Meiser, when Meiser stopped, Bitel Shuman Dogan, the fattiness of there was like a certain, we spoke before, the wheat had such a oil, a wheat germ, that when you would sift it, it was like dough. Okay? Rav Huna Ashkach Tumrasa the Chininiso. Rav Huna, he was after the Churban, he found a certain type of what? Of date that was from those original dates that had that special fragrance. Okay? Shoklo Korcho Besuji. He took it and he wrapped it in a cloth. The special date was like an old date which you couldn't find anymore, which had that special taste of fragrance, and he wrapped it in a cloth. Also Rabbi Berei, so Rabbi, his son came, okay, Rav Huna's son Rabbi, Oma Morchino Reicho de Chinus, he says, I smell the fragrance of that special kind of date. It literally was giving off such a strong fragrance. Oma Le B'ni Tari Yeshboch. You hear this? He says, if you were able to smell it, that's an indication that you're pure. He said to his son, you're pure. And that's why you're able to smell the fragrance. Yovanele, you hear this? He gave it to him. He gave the date, the special date with the special fragrance to his son. Adochi Osa Abba Break. In the meantime, Abba, the son of Rabba, his grandson, Rav Huna comes. Shoklo Yov, he gives to his, so the father gives to his son. So he gave it to the son because the son has Tyra.
So
and now the son gives to his son.
Yeah.
So Omale Beni Samachtas Libi, he says, you gave me joy because I saw you have Tyra, because you were able to smell the fragrance. The key says, Shina, but simultaneously you blunted my teeth. Because I only gave it to you because of you. And then you go give it away. I gave up something that was mine that was special because you're special. And who did he give it to? You give it to your son who's not so special. Hainu damri inchi rachmi de abba abnei rachmi de boni abnei. You hear this? The rachmi of a father is on his child, and the rachman of his child is on his child.
Right, but not the...
Dahaba Oma, Dahaba le Ravacha bar Yaakov, Itvu be Reb Yaakov. Yeah. Dahaba le Ravacha bar Yaakov, Itvu be Reb Yaakov, Brabrate. You hear this? Ravacha bar Yaakov, he spent time with the son of his daughter, his grandson. Ki Godel, when his grandson grew up, Amalei Ashkin Maya. So the grandfather says to the grandson who he raised, he says, could you bring me a glass of water? Cup of water. Amalei Lav Brichano. He says, I'm not your son. There's no obligation for me to honor you. Vahainu Damni Inchi. Ravi Babrochano. You can raise him. Then he says, but I'm your daughter's son. I'm not your son. My mother asked me, that's something else. I'm not obligated to keep it off to you. You're my grandfather. So whatever you do for grandchildren, there's no thank you. You got it, Norman? You know how many times I visited Israel to be there at your simcha? Who are you? Oh, you're an American. Forget about it.
Give up those tickets.
The truth is, if you want to get a discount, there's a physician I like. Wouldn't go. Okay. Okay. The Pulnus shel Aspasionis. Aspasionis was a Roman general. And when he brought his army to destroy Yerushalayim, to conquer, right, destroy the Beis Hamikdash, which was the first wave of real tsaris, Gozu al Atoras Chasanim. In those years, when a chassan would go to the chuppah, he would wear a crown. So they said, the chassan, it's not appropriate. With this level of suffering, the chassan cannot wear the crown when he goes to the chuppah. Vala Erus, Erum, we'll see what that is. The Gemara will explain. But Pumishel Titus, Tiltus came with the final blow. He's the one who destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. When he came with his armies, Gozu Atoris Kalos, they said that Atoris Kalos, the special crown that the Kala would wear, they said she can't wear it any longer. Shal Yilmar Odom Espno Yevonis. And they decreed that a person cannot teach his son Greek. Greek is what? That's what this represents. But Pumish Achron, the last final blow, Gozo shall teitze kala bapirion b'sochir. She shouldn't go out with a apirion, something like a canopy. When she goes to the chuppah, they have like a canopied chuppah, like whatever it is. She should not. Yeah, Rabbi Seidu hitiru. She teitze kala bapirion b'sochir. He said no. Chum said no. That fall, we're not taking that. That what last vestige of simcha from the kala, we're not going to take away. K'shmeis Rameir, when Rameir passed away, Batli Moshlim Misholim. Rameir, whenever he would explain something, he would always explain with a special allegory. He was the expert of allegories. When he passed away, the ones who were able to present things, to elucidate through allegory, came to an end. Mishmeis Ben Azai Batli Hashaktonim. Ben Azai, he was the one who said Choshkenavsky, he never got married. Choshkenavsky Batorah. He was the one who was the most diligent in learning. Mishemes Ben Zom Botla Darshana, he was the expert lecturer. Mishemes Rebbe Kiva was the example of Kavod Torah. He was the princeliness of Torah. Botl Kavod Torah. Kavod Torah came to an end. Mishemes Rebbe Chanina Ben Dosa Botlu Anshi Maisa. He was like the miracle worker because he was such a tzaddik. Mishmesh Rabbi Yossi Katnosa, Posku Chasidim. He was called Rabbi Yossi Katnosa. Rabbi Yossi, the little one. He was such a chosid. He totally negated himself. Lo menikru shmo Katnosa, shei Katnosa shel Chasidim. Because of the Chasidim, he was the what? He was the least. But he was like the remnant. He was the last of the Chasidim. So when he passed away, it was the end of the era of Chasidim. Mishmesh Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai botlu ziva chochma. He represents a certain sweetness of chochma. Mishmesh Rabbi Gamliel Azokin, when Rabbi Gamliel Azokin, who was the Nasi, when he passed away, botlu Kavod Torah. So you have to understand, because we just said before, when Rabbi Akiva passed away, it was botlu Kavod Torah, and now we're saying again, when Rabbi Gamliel Azokin passed away, it was botlu Kavod Torah. Okay, Umeisa Tairo Uprecious. When he passed away, he was Kavod Torah. Tyra, purity, and precious, abstinence, to live only at the bare minimum. Mishemeis Rabbi Shmuel ben Pobi Botlu Ziv Akuna. He was a Kohen. The beauty of Kuna came. Mishmeis Rabbi Botla Nov of Yeruschet. Rabbi Yehuda Nosson, when he passed away, humility came to an end. That special dimension of humility and fear of sin. Okay, that came to an end. Just want to see something. Rashi. So over here, it says something interesting. What's Batul Kavod Torah? The Gemara says in Chelek that some person says, the Torah itself talks about certain things. What's its value? And you belittle it, says, it doesn't make any sense. But if a person goes and presents the Torah, that even the shape of the letters, there's what to derive. You see the specialness of Torah. Reb Kiva had that ability. He was able to elucidate every aspect. The Gemara says in Menachos that when Moshe Rabbeinu went to heaven to receive the Torah, he saw Hashem tying crowns on the letters in the Torah. So he says, what's this about? He says, in the future there's going to be a person by the name of Rabbi Akiva. He will extrapolate from these crowns mounds and mounds of halachas. He'll be able to draw from the crowns. You know what that is? That's Kavod Torah. It's just unbelievable. You read something, then I show, if you read it diagonally, you decipher. You read it horizontally, it's one way. Vertically, another way. You skip every third letter, it's something else. It's just amazing. Everything's contained in there. That's Kavod Torah. What is Torah? It's just a narrative. It's much more than it. It's a story. It's not a storybook. It's just, so that's Kavod. Reb Kiva was able to do that. The Kavod Torah afterwards is speaking about, I'm reading Chat Shemesh Hoya. It says when he passed away, Rabbi Gamliel, people were very healthy. People when they studied, they never sat. When we received the Torah at Sinai, we stood. Like it says, they stood and they heard the Torah. But you know what it means to stand? You study 18 hours a day. You stand. You never sit down. Out of respect for the Torah, that's Kavod Torah. When Gamaliel passed away, it says, Yor the Chul Shalom. Weakness came into the world. People physically didn't have the strength, so they had to sit. So to display that special reverence for Torah, they could no longer display that reverence. So when did that era come to an end? With the passing of Gamaliel Azoki. That's the. So we talk about a different cover of Torah. Torah Rabbanan. Reb Pinchas ben Yor Omer, Mishchor Beis Hamikdash, Boshu Chaverim Ubnei Chorin. The Chaverim, they were disgraced. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, Ubnei Chorin Chofu Rosham. Rashi says, Ubnei Chorin Miuchosim means people came from a special period. Shegovru Yad Azi Porim Mamzeru Shem Ashirim Ve'elu Aniyim. You hear this? Here, the people were the most prestigious families. After Chur Nabayis, you know what happened? They treated them like pariahs. Because the illegitimate, all the illegitimate Jews, all of a sudden they took over. They had the money, they had the power, and the great Talmidei Chacham had nothing. Okay? That means they withered. Achi Meiser, the Govr Bali Zroa, or Bali Loshen. And the physically strong-armed people, and the Bali Loshen, meaning the ones who slandered and gossiped, Vein Dorish Vein Mevakesh, Vein Shoel, Ami Lono Lishoyin. Stop. Vein Dorish Vein Mevakesh. Vein Shoel, nobody's interested in spirituality. They're not interested in anything any longer. They're interested in pursuing their own, what they say, they're running after their own tails. Ami Lono Lishoyin. So today, being in such a dire situation, on who do we have to rely? We only have to rely on Hashem. You can't rely on anybody. With seeing what's going on, there's nobody to rely on, to lean on, except Avinu Sheb'Shamayim. Only Hashem. Reb Leza Godel Omer, Miyom Shechor Beis Hamikdash, Shor Chachimayo, Lemhevi, Kisifrayo, Visraev Kachaznayo, Chaznayo, Kama de Aro. Aro, what does that mean? That after Chub Rabayis, they allowed, he says, the Talmidei Chacham, they became what? They became teachers of little children. Could you imagine? The great sages, they had to take on tutoring jobs. So they started to teach in elementary schools. People initially had the most advanced students, they were lowered to what's his name? So the Talmidei Chachamim, the Reb Lazar Godel, show you, Chachmir became Kisifrayo, the Mlamtor became Chazonim, you hear this? The one who was the expert teacher, he became a chazan in the shul, became a reverend. Chaznaya and the chazan, who was also a person of status, he was treated like an amoritz. He had no value. Vama da'aro. Yeah. And the amoritz, Oslo v'dildalo. They're even at a lower level. Okay? And they have no interest in these people, and therefore all we have to rely on is what? Is on Hashem. Only our Father in heaven. Unfortunately, things have gotten better, but at one time in the United States, till I'd say the early 70s, if you were a teacher, they referred to him, you couldn't do anything, you can't find anything else to do, so he became a teacher. And they were treated by the board of these people with the greatest level of disrespect. They barely paid him a minimum wage, barely. And they'd always be late in paying them. And they said, you don't like it, quit. And they mistreated him. I remember many years ago, on the Lower East Side, there was a shul, and I'm not going to mention the rabbi's name, very special rabbi. He was a Talmud of Baruch Ber, tremendous Talmud Chacham. And he was a Rebbe in Torah Vadas. And he was a rabbi in the shul on the Lower East Side. The president of the shul was a plumber. A coarse, earthy man. Barely a Shomer Shabbos. So it was Friday. I was in the shul because I used to daven, because it was like a few shuls combined to become one shul. And it had a number of rabbis who were the rabbi of the shul, even though you didn't need a rabbi. So the president of the shul was this plumber. He says to this rabbi, tremendous, he wrote Sforim. He says, Rabbi, make sure the toilet paper is in the bathroom. You hear this? That's what he says to the rabbi. Make sure there's Shabbos toilet paper. A disgrace. This guy was busy dredging pipes with sewage a whole week. This is the way he speaks to the rabbi. And do you know what he paid him a week? Paid him $28 a week to be the rabbi. To shine his shoes. You understand what kind of disrespect this is? And he's got this other guy up in Carnegie Hall tooting his horn. Could you imagine?
What a situation.
Okay. The Ikvus to the Mashiach. We're holding. in the footsteps of Mashiach. What's going to be prevalent in the world? Chutz b'yizke. There's going to be an exceptional level of insolence and arrogance.
Okay.
V'yoker yamir.
And
V'yoker. And also things are going to go at a skyrocket in price. Inflation.
okay. The 2 for 2. Right?
Okay, 1 second.
Brace yourself.
Oh,
Vayayin b'yoker. And you want to purchase wine, it's expensive.
okay. 3 for 3.
1 second. Yeah, vayayin b'yoker. Hagefen tite imperio vayayin b'yoker. Malchus teopech leminus. And the government is going to be a heretical government. God means nothing. Vein tochachas. Okay, and there's nobody rebuking anybody. You get away with murder. That's this government. There's no checks and balances. Okay, Beizvad yeluzunus. Yeah, where the rabbis meet to learn, it becomes a brothel. That's what happens. Va'golul yichorev. The golil will be destroyed. Va'gavlon yishom. 1 second. Shekol chamein lomei torev yechorev be'aynish u'bal misnodim. Agavlon yichorev. V'agavlon yishom. V'ananshe agvu yisovu me'ir le'ir v'lo chonenu. The gavlon will be put out of a job, will be like desolate. How does he translate gavlon? It usually means the kneader. Gavlon.
Name of a place?
Okay. No, Golil will be destroyed. Yeah, it probably is the name of a place. Will be desolate. Okay. V'anshe agvul yisovu. The men who are on the borders will just wander around. Me'ir le'ir v'lo yichonenu. And they're not going to take, because who's the anshe agvul? The Kohanim. They go to collect their truma and meiser. So they're going to be wandering from city to city. Nobody's going to look at them. Nobody's going to have any compassion to them. The chochmas sofrim tisrach. And the wisdom of the Talmud Chacham is going to become putrid. Nothing. V'yirechet yimosu. And people yirechet, people will look at them with a disdain. Could you imagine? People are yirechet, they'll look at him as some kind of archaic, detestable person. V'emes te nederes. Truth is going to become absent. There's going to be a void of truth. Nenorim p'nei zakenim yalbinu. The youth will disgrace the presence of the elders. Zakenim yamdu b'nei ketanim. You understand this? The elders will stand for the young. You know, the guy's 24 years old. He just made $90 million on Wall Street. And you're collecting the Social Security, $1,000 a month. You know, you stand for the man. Because maybe he'll throw you a bone. He'll throw you a coin when you're walking down the street. You understand? That's what we're holding today. Ben minavalov. You hear this? A son goes and disgraces his father. Bas koma be'imo. A daughter goes against, she stands up against her mother. Disrespect. Kaleb chamosa. The daughter-in-law goes up against her mother-in-law. Oy vayish anshe beiso. You hear this? The enemies of a person, of the members of his own family. The family, which should be the compatriots of the family, they are the worst enemies of the family. Pnei ador k'pnei hakelev, this famous. The face of the generation looks like the face of a dog. They look like dogs. You ever see a picture of Obama? That's the leadership. I don't know, what is that? The one with the long ears, a beagle. Okay. Habenenim is baishmi oviv. The son does things which are unconscionable in the presence of the father. No embarrassment. Child's not embarrassed. So what do we have to rely on if things are so dire and so hopeless? The only one we have to rely on is Hashem, our Father in heaven. There's no other solution. That's why I say, you know, at one time you speak about, you take initiative, this is shtadlus. Today, it's an exercise in futility. All you can do is be a better Jew and be mispal. Nothing else. Any other initiative is a waste of time. It's beyond initiative today, in terms of where the world's at. It says that the kala, they decreed that the chosin should not go out with a crown, and the kala eventually with the special also crown. So Omer Rav Doshon Elo Shel Melech V'Gofris. That's only if it's made with salt and with sulfur. They used to take like a silver and they would actually pulverize it with silver and salt. Avol shel hadas shel vered. Let's see, the crown for the kala d'choshen. It's made of what? Of myrtles or of roses. That's the crown the kala wears to the chuppah, right? Mutter, that's permitted. Shmuel omer af shel hadas shel vered also. Even the crown made of myrtle or made of vered, made of roses, it's not permitted. Shel kanim v'shel chelas mutter. If it's made of reeds or like silk, that's okay.
Good.
That's okay. 1 second. Yeah. Chelas, guma, hagodl b'mayim. No, chelas, he says, is a type of resin, which actually it's like the algae that grows on the water. The moss. They would take it and turn it into something. You never see pictures of Caesar or to see we wore something on his head. It looks like myrtles, like a crown made of myrtles.
Yeah.
So that's something of status. Even that you're not permitted. But if it's made of this inferior type quality material, that much, at least it's a semblance of a crown. Levi Omar Av Shel Konim Shel Chel Associate, not even that. You don't wear a crown with such sorrows. You don't wear a crown. Cheintani Levi b'masnise Av Shel Konim Shel Chel Associate. Even if it's made of reeds or this other inferior quality material, also not. Val Erus, they also said, my Erus were Omer Reb Lozer Tavlo Dechad Puma. What is that? Zug shel invul, echot shemekasher shebo, the shear, beis hamishtos. They used to have some kind of like, you know what this is? They ever see whatever it is? The Spanish, the Mexicans, they have a thing that clangs like a bell. When they would be in the pubs drinking wine, they would play this kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
You're not permitted. Once he came with his armies to destroy Yerushalayim, they said none of this. You want to drink, but any type of musical, even the most minimal level of music, it's not permitted. How does he say what it is? Tavda Chapuma. I forgot what was it called, that thing? Where they hold in the hands like it makes like
Castanets.
what?
Castanets.
Castanets, that's what it is. Look, we spent 6 years in Juilliard to learn that. Again, how do you say the thing that's not perennial? Okay. Okay. Yeah. His vocabulary today is outstanding. Okay. Rabbi Barafuna Ovad Librei Tanburo. Yeah? His son was getting married, and he made from a tanbura. He says, Kein Napa, the kosher, Davan B'chutin Shal Barzel, Shotchen Al Piv, or it's like a tambourine. Something like a tambourine. It is, tambura. Tambourine.
Yeah.
Okay. Osavur Tavrei. So Rav Huna, the grandfather, saw what he did made for his son. The grandfather went and smashed it. He broke it.
Wow.
Omalei Michlich Betablo Dechad Puma. He says, if you allow your son to this, people say, if this is permitted, they're going to use the other thing. This is nothing. But if you allow your son to have this, people will confuse it, and he's going to use the, what's it called again?
The tambourine? Oh,
No.
the castanets.
Castanets, right? Zil Ovidlei Apuma de Chatzvo, Apuma de Kapiza. If you want to make him something that he should be able to put a piece of leather over a barrel, like these guys down on the street, the ones who sit on the sidewalk. The ones that they look like, they're glossy-eyed, they're staring at those kinds of things. They make them one of those things. Okay? Puma de Kapiza, like take a small vessel, just stretch a piece of leather over it, and you got yourself a man-made drum. Everybody beats his own drum, as they say. But Puma shel Titus gozru ala Torres Kalus. When Titus, who was the one who destroyed the Beis Hamikdash, this Titus, they decreed even the Kalu cannot go out with her special crown. Maya Torres Kalus, what is it? What is this? Omer Rabbi Rav Chana, Omer Rabbi Yochanan, Ir Shel Zov. They would wear it. The Gemara in Shabbos speaks about it. It's like a necklace that it had engraved on it. This is called Yerushalayim Shel Zahav. It was a necklace, and on it was engraved a picture of Yerushalayim. That's here, and it was like a necklace. Tanya Namiochi Izeu Atoras Kalos Ir Shel Zahav. Avol also Kippah Shel Milas. But you make her like a head covering made of silk. Of silk, that's permitted. Tana Af Chupas Chasanim Gozu. It says in the Brisa that even Chasanim, Chup of Chasanim, they will go there. My Chupas Chasanim. Zuhuris hamuzhavus. It was made with gold thread. Meaning, there's a chuppah. Everybody has a chuppah, right? When you get married, there's a chuppah. That's a canopy. But that it should be with gold thread, that level. They said that, not that. Just a little time. There was, Rabbi Yonasan Eifshitz, in his time, he was the Rav in Metz, whatever, large community, and many Jews were very successful, and as a result, it actually caused tremendous envy. The goyim, like Jews, their wives wore fur coats. They would have carriages with footmen, and they have all these ornate carriages when they would rub. It literally was like putting your finger in the goyim's eyes, and it created tremendous anti-Semitism. Mm-hmm. So they wrote into the bylaws, regardless of how much wealth you have, no Jewish woman's permitted to wear a fur coat. No one's permitted to have this kind of coach. They toned down everything that the Jews lived at just a very mediocre financial level. Not an enemy would be. They would be excommunicated from the community. They would not allow it because they'd have the ire of the goyim with this. Okay. So here, this is not the reason. So what's doing it the right way? Gold thread chuppah made of gold thread. Tanya miyochi eloi chuppah sachasanim. What's a chuppah v'chosan? Zuhuris hamuzavos aval osa papyrus v'tolabo kol ma sheyirtzeh. You make a papyrus. What's a papyrus? Rega. Kimin kibo shel magle eitz oshanu osid v'tolabo snifin, which means you make a wooden form like a box, and then you just cover it with tapestry. It's not, it itself is not woven gold, where the actual chuppah itself is woven gold. It's a form, and you just drape it over with tapestries, regardless how beautiful the tapestries are. And also they decreed you should not teach your son Greek. You this? Later the Chashmonoim, the family, they went off. This was right before Hurdas. So when they were actually warring, they laid siege against one another. Hurkanis laid siege on Yerushalayim. So Hurkanis was on the outside, and the Strabulis was on the inside. Every day they would drop over the side of the wall of Yerushalayim a bucket of gold coins, and they would send up the animals to be able to bring the korbanos in the Beis Hamikdash. They were kohanim, the Chashmonaim. Yeah, there was one of the ones on the outside who were part of the siege. He knew Greek. Yeah, he spoke to them in Greek that nobody should understand. You realize you're your worst enemies. You're laying siege to force them out. You want to flush them out. As long as they're doing the avodah, they have divine protection. Once you destroy that, you undermine that, then they're vulnerable. You'll be able to take over. Lamochi, listen to this. The next day, because of this advice of this bad guy who spoke Greek, Shilshlu law of dinarim. Again, they lowered a bucket of dinarim. Vehelulam chazir. And instead of sending up a species that's qualified for the korban, they sent up a pig. As the pig was being raised, they didn't realize they're raising a pig up. The pig dug its paws, whatever it's called, into the wall of Yerushalayim. At that moment, literally a tremor went through Eretz Yisrael as if an earthquake was happening, because this was the ultimate level of what? Of disgrace. Okay? Cursed is the one who's a pig farmer. Okay? Yeah, because this one, the one who gave him this advice, he spoke Greek and he whispered it. This way to destroy Yerushalayim in Greek is a forbidden language. It's interesting. My grandma, Allah Shalom, she spoke a number of languages. One of the languages she spoke was German, because she came from Oberland in Hungary. The Oberlanders, they spoke, because they're close to Germany, they spoke German. Hungarian, Romanian, they spoke many languages. The moment World War II started, my grandmother never spoke a word of German, ever, for the rest of her life. Because German represented the Nazis, would never speak the language. I mean, it's one bad guy. But you know what, the Greek, he used Greek to bring about the destruction of Yerushalayim. Cursed is the person who teaches his child Greek. Like sometimes a person tells me something, like tremendous insight in Torah. And I say to him, it sounds like Greek. Right? Sounds familiar, Howard, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alosa shono shanina masu bo omer migagus shrafim trifim shtei alechem bibikas ein socher. Says that year they brought the omer from a different location in Eretz Yisrael. Ini v'omer Rava Rebbe Eretz Yisrael loshen surasi lama. One second. Surasi is like a jargon. What happened? Because the what's his names came in, the armies of the Romans, they destroyed all the fields. So they had to bring the omer from far away. They couldn't bring it from, because the fields that they normally grew the barley for the carbon wasn't there. Okay? 1 second. So as a result of that, if you're able to harvest it close, the omer, it's full of oil. Of course, but what's happening? You have to transport from far. By the time it arrives in Yerushalayim, it's dried out already, so it's not really quality grain to be used as the korban. Yeah. So it says, "Ini vom Rebbe loshen sursi lama." So the Gemara asks a question. Okay, that's it. Rebbe says, Rebbe said, "Berzo loshen sursi lama." They used to speak a language, a jargon, which was similar to Aramaic. So Rebbe says, what are you speaking this funny language? You have other options. Either speak Lashon HaKodesh, Eli Lashon HaKodesh, or Lashon Yevonis. You hear this? So Rebbe is endorsing Greek. He says, what do you have to speak? This jargon, which is Aramaic. You have an alternative. Either speak Lashon HaKodesh or speak Greek. V'amar Rav Yossi, Bavel Lashon Arami Lama. Why in Bavel? The Babylonians, right? The Gemara is written in Aramaic. Why is it written in Aramaic? Yeah, Bavel Loshen Arami Lama, Elo I Loshen HaKodesh Loshen Parsi. So the question, yes, why you should either speak Hebrew in Bavel or Parsi. What's Parsi? No, here it's not Parsi. No, it's Parsi. No. Yeah, Sursi. This jargon. Loshen Yivonis L'chud v'Chochmas Yivonis L'chud. Yeah, he said no. There's difference. If you wanted to speak Greek, it's fine. It was Chochmas Mivonis. The one who gave the advice, he studied Greek culture. That's something else. There's Loshen Yivonis and there's Chochmas Yivonis. Stop. Yeah. Somewhere says, Chochmas Yivonis miyasiro. You're not permitted to study the Greek culture. V'amar Rav Yehuda Shmuel Mishum Reb Shimon Gamliel Ma'idich Siv. Einai ola lenavshi mikol benos iri elef yilodim hoye beis abo. There were 1,000 children in Beis Abba. Chomish meos lomdu Torah, chomish meos lomdu chochmas yivonis. V'lo nishtayr echad mehem. Yeah, this he says 500 learned, and of them, not one remained. They all disappeared. They disappeared. Second. Yeah. Ani kan uben ochi abba ba'asir. He says the only ones that were left is myself, a cousin of mine, who lives in Asia. Shani Beis Rebbe Rem Gamliel de Krova Malchus Habo. Yeah, there's a difference. If you need the language, Beis Rem Gamliel, they had to speak, they had to learn certain things because they had to interact with the government.
Yeah.
But the average Jew, what are you learning Greek for?
Right.
It was known in Poland, this is during the pre-World War II, World War I, there were Jews in Poland who spoke French. Of course, it had to do with Napoleon. But those were the Jews who were on the brink of assimilation. First of all, any observant Jew didn't speak Polish, you know that. The Jews hated the Poles so they would not speak the language. They only knew enough to interact on a business level. More than that, they didn't speak the language. They didn't want to speak the language. But the ones who were really assimilated, they know Polish, but what was considered sophisticated, like you were from the aristocracy of Poland, you spoke French. I remember there was a member years ago at Fifth Avenue Synagogue who was a Pole, really wasn't a religious man, very wealthy. He himself, I remember he used to speak French. Because that you see, now you understand why he wasn't religious, why he was as arrogant as he was. because he felt he was some kind of elitist. You know, he was God's gift to who knows where.
Mm.
Okay? Titania, Misaper Kumi, Habi Zemi Darke Amori. You know, to take a certain kind of haircut, if you take a haircut like the Goyim, it's like you emulate, that's called Darke Amori. Avtulis ben Ruvain, but this person, Avtulis ben he tiru lo Misaper Kumi. He was permitted to take this kind of haircut. Why? Shukarv Malchus, because he would have to go sit in the Roman Senate. So to sit in the Roman Senate with a haircut, and you don't look like them, it's a problem. So the only way you're able to interact with the government, you had to take a haircut to be style-wise. That's a Torah provision. But if you're doing it to be, because that's the way you interact with the government, it's permitted. But Pumasach, what happens? The final blow, when the final army came into Yerushalayim to destroy everything. A color is not permitted to go out with a certain type of canopy. My time you should tznius, because of tznius. It was considered a breach of modesty. So why before was it permitted? If it's modesty, it was always immodest. Okay? Does he say something on the bottom? I mean, if it's mishum tzniuso, what does he say, Norman? Okay? I mean, I would say it like this. Maybe the reason was because they attributed the tzoros because they weren't sufficiently modest. You understand? They only realized, how could it get worse? What do we do so wrong? You know something? Maybe it's lacking its tznius. Of course, it's lacking tznius, that's the reason why we're vulnerable to this degree. Mishum tzniusa. Mishmeis Rabbi Yochanan Botla Chochma. Torah Mishmeis Rabbi Lozer Nigna Sefer Torah. You hear this? Rabbi Lezer passed away, it was the equivalent to, we didn't have a Sefer Torah any longer. Mishmeis Rabbi Yeshua Botla Eitzo. Umachshava. A person who had like sage wisdom, that went with Rabbi Yeshua. And thought. Mishmeis Rabbi Kiva Botla Zroei Torah. V'nistemu Mayonas HaChochma. You hear this? The power of Torah came to an end, and the wellspring of wisdom came to an end. That Reb Kiva, because Reb Kiva is what? Is Okohorim Tochen Zubazu. That's very interesting. Reb Lezer, I'm not sure if it's Reb Lezer Agodo. B'shemesh Reb Lezer ben Azar Botla Atoras Chochma, like the crown of Torah, Atoras Chachomim, Sha'atoras Chachomim Oshram. What's his name? What is the wealth of Chachomim? The Torah, he was the wealth, you know. What do people respect? The person who's a Talmud Chacham, you revere Torah. If you're not, but Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was he was a Nasi. Mm-hmm. Of course, he was the leading Torah sage. But what did they appreciate? It says that he would take 10,000 sheep a year just for Ma'aseh Behema, just to tithe his herds. You know how wealthy he was. This you respect. You know, that's royalty. What about his Torah? So they only respected him for his Torah because of his wealth. So therefore, when he left, it was what? It was Botlo Mishmei. Where is it? Yeah, Mishmeis Rav Elazar ben Azar Botla Ateres Chochma, She'ateres Chochma Oshram. Mishmeis Rav Chini Bedos Botla Achimaisa, Mishmeis Abi Yossi ben Kadnusa Botla Chasid Lo Mishmov Abi Yossi ben Kadnusa Yoy Mekatni Chasidim. He was the least of the Chasidim. Mishmeis ben Azai Botla Shaktonim, those who were the most diligent in study. Mishmeis ben Zoma Botla Atershonim, Mishmeis Rav Shim Gamliel Ola Govoy. Yiddish. There was a locust that came upon Eretz Yisrael. Meaning, Shim Gamliel, in his horse, the goats didn't come. Rabu Tzoros, and that things really began to fall apart. Mishemesh Rebbe, Huchbala Tzoros, things became intensified. The Tzoros. Mishmesh Rebbe Botla Nova, V'Yeretzchet, Omalei Rav Yosef, Latano, Lotisni Anova, Rav Yosef, you should omit from the Mishnah Anivus, Dika Anov, because I'm here. You hear what he's saying? I'm here. You know, my father, Allah Hashem, used to tell a joke. My father wasn't exactly he wasn't a great proponent of Hasidim. He was a real, misnagid. So he says, there was this Tish, this Rebbe, he used to have a Tish every Friday night, and he would sit with his Hasidim, and he'd wear this ornate white, satin clothing, And all of a sudden, in the middle, he would like fall asleep, and they'd say, his mind is, he's having some kind of divine connection, and they'd say, and they start talking about the Rebbe. He looks like a malach. He's so brilliant. He's so wise. He's so this. He's that. And the Rebbe's, of course, he's listening to all this. So he pipes and he says, "Don't tell him how humble I am." You left that one out. Remember how humble I am. That was what I'm saying. I mean, Lahavit, Rav Yosef says, omit from the Mishnah Anivus, because I'm still here. I'm the humble one. That's what Rav Yosef is saying. I mean, you have to understand what he means. Dikano, Amalei Rav Nachman, Latan, Lotisni, Yiraschet, and Rav Nachman says, omit Yiraschet, leave this piece to the Siyam. Mitzvah Hashem. Let's start getting. We have a minute. Give me a git. We'll do the first Amud. Today's the first Amud, right?
No, it's the third.
Not the third. Second blot.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna do an Amud. Maybe get Medina say brings the person brings get from the agent who delivers has to say it was written before me, you signed before. Even from a community that's right outside Israel, which is Rekem Mecheger. One or the agent who delivers it, it doesn't have to be Medina say I'm far off overseas. It also says even though this was one community, half of it was outside Israel, half was in Eretz Israel. Also, when I said the only time when you bring it from overseas, or you bring it from Eretz Israel to overseas, you bring it from one country to another in outside of Eretz Israel. So from one province, one vassal state to another. Now, what's the term? What are the boundaries of Eretz Israel regarding this particular halacha? That in terms of substantiating the document or writing it properly, from Rekem eastward, that's Chutz Loretz. That's outside Eretz Israel. And Rekem is Kim Yisroch. And Rekem is like the outside. Ashkelon Dorom, Ashkelon to the south is outside Israel, and Ashkelon is considered like outside. Me'akul itself, Akku to the north is outside Israel. Akku is like the north. Ramiro Omer Akku Eretz Israel. Akku is like Eretz Israel. The Gittin, although it's Chutz Loretz, but regarding Gittin, the agent who delivers the get doesn't have to say it was written before me, it was signed before me. Maybe get Eretz Israel. When you bring the get in Eretz Israel proper, in Utzorch Shiomar Nechtam, he doesn't have to test to its validity. The Miyashal of 8, or if it's contested, that it's a forgery. Yiskaim b'chosomov, it'll be substantiated, certified by the witnesses who signed or those who recognize the signatures. We'll review this tomorrow, and we'll catch up.